Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. And the old crew is back together again.
Back in love again. Hey.
Back in love
Hey,
again.
good morning,
Back
everybody.
in love again.
Happy
Yeah.
Saturday. Listen.
Whoop,
Whoop,
whoop.
Hey man, I'm just so excited right now to be sitting here right now in this moment in this time. You can't tell me what God can't do.
You can't
You
tell
can't.
me.
Cannot
Won't he do
tell
it?
me what
Didn't he
God
do it?
Won't he do it?
cannot
Didn't he do it?
Come on here,
Didn't he
somebody.
do it?
Didn't he do it?
Didn't he do
They
it?
don't-
Come on
Listen,
here.
day ones. They don't know what we went through.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't
know.
They're gonna find out today.
But they don't know about us getting up early in the morning.
Remember them 6 a.m.s we used to be in studio?
What?
But no,
I mean,
we
in the studio.
No, sorry, I was up at 4:30 a.m.
But
Exactly.
listen,
4:30.
I was up before all y'all because I had to drive the farthest.
Yeah.
So if y'all was up at 4:30, imagine what time I was up.
I mean, just imagine it though. Like, just imagine the fact that the
Listen.
transformation to get to this point right now. Like, y'all understand. Like, and I'm just gonna tell. Listen, this is the camera right now. I'm not making no excuses. We ain't doing. Listen, tune in. This is uncut.
This
This
is
is
raw.
home.
This is raw.
This is-
Raw.
Live.
This is home. So this is the kickoff. This is the place I wanted to start. This is the place that helped me get to where I'm at. These are my sisters. These are the folks who were praying for me that when I went through the darkest moments of my life, not just my time, of my life, right? And so it's a little bit more to it than just having an interview and just being in a place. When we talk about being in the driver's seat, when we talk about the word of the day, when we talk about God, when we talk about transformation, when we talk about Pontiac, listen, you get your notepads out. You already know. And those who've been with us, thank you for always being in support, being in the driver's seat. And we in F&G Media is here.
Whoop, whoop.
And listen, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to our guy. Shout out
Yeah.
to our guy,
Let's go.
Come
Santi.
on.
I'm always messing up his name, but he know he got his own name now, right?
Yeah, his name is Asante.
Hey, Santi. I don't like to put the
Yeah,
A on it.
Lucas. Mr. Lucas, listen.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, so
listen.
shout out to you, sir.
Got a
And
secret.
Effigy
Effigy
Media.
Effigy Media.
Yeah.
I know it's motorcycle.
You know his motorcycle name?
I ain't gonna do that.
Dude.
No, don't do that.
I ain't
Don't
gonna
do
do
it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm so excited today, though, y'all. So this
Yes.
is such a good feeling. It's something like when you going home.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When you get back home, you know, at the end of the day.
Home sweet home.
Yes.
Yeah, you just
Home sweet
excited.
home,
So
yeah.
this is a good thing. This feels like home.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, and so I'm excited today. Gil, it's good to see you
Oh, it's
in the
so good.
See you,
studio
my
with
brother.
us. Listen,
Yeah.
we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah.
wait, I need to just talk about. So you guys don't know this. Every time we were on the radio, we walked in together. So whoever arrived first, we wait on each other, right?
Yeah.
So today, I'm the last one to get here. I put in.
Yeah, because
Gil's
Gil went
back
to the
in.
wrong spot. You know, he was getting ready to hit the wrong spot, and then he seen me, and he jumped over like, "There go my
For sure, yeah,
sister,"
yeah,
and he
yeah,
followed me here. You know, he was lost at first.
You know, y'all switch cars
He was
every 3
lost
months.
and turned out
Right.
at first, yo.
You know, y'all switch cars every 3 months. I was like,
No, we
at
don't.
first I was trying to
No,
figure
we
out
don't.
who was in that car. I'm like, yeah, okay, don't get dealt down.
Don't get dealt with.
Don't get dealt with.
Run up on me.
Right.
So when I pulled, and I was the last one to get here. Now, I don't know, we parked like all three together.
Yeah.
So Gil was backed in his truck, Dr. T in her Cadillac, right?
Cadillac pimping.
Right. And so I'm like, I'm not getting in the middle because I need some room when I get out.
Mm.
I attempt to come in, then I turn, I want to get another spot. So I'm already talking to her on the phone, and she's like, what you doing? You need to, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's
How you-
too close.
How you break a tradition? What's going
Right.
on with you?
So what did I do when I got out the car? For all y'all church members, I'm sorry, but I gave them this on both sides.
She
I
gave
let
us
down
the
both
finger,
windows,
y'all.
right? I let down both sides of the window, and I gave them both the middle finger. That's what I did.
Listen, this is what
It's
this
normal.
is what we deal with
That was normal behavior.
on a Saturday.
On a Saturday morning. I had to get y'all, nothing changed.
Yeah.
No.
But that was good. But I bet you she got in that middle spot though.
And she did.
I did get them.
And did, right? And which it just reminded me that you know what, we still ride for each other.
Yeah.
We still
Ride or die.
Yeah.
Listen.
Ride or die.
Well, let's
Yeah.
hit this word,
Let's go.
transformation. I'm ready to talk about it. You
Let's
know,
go.
I'm gonna be honest. When Regina was talking about what should be the word of the day, I really thought about a butterfly effect. I really thought about how the caterpillar,
Wow.
because I was thinking about how a caterpillar is ugly. when you first see it. Most people want to kill it, right? But as it goes through the changes, it turns into a beautiful butterfly.
Awesome.
And so all week long for the last couple of weeks, I've been hearing some ugly things, even about my city, right? And so now it's time for some transformation to happen. Like what was ugly can turn out to be a beautiful thing. And then I thought about even as a personal, as a therapist, like helping someone in one of their most ugliest states, a place where they're not really proud of, or and they want to come from that place and help them emerge into their true self. So sometimes things can appear ugly and can even be ugly, but we don't have to stay in an ugly space.
Tell it.
We don't have to stay there.
Tell it.
And so I'm excited about transformation because I'm looking forward to my city transforming into something beautiful again. It wasn't always like this. And I'm a proud Pontiac person. I'm a proud Pontiac resident. So when I thought about transformation, I really was thinking about what has happened over the last few weeks. And even me as a child of God.
Why the last couple of weeks though?
Because
there's some things
first of
going
all,
on.
it has been a lot of things going on, but this is the beginning of the year. And usually how you begin a thing is how
you end it.
it's going to typically end that way unless you make some changes. But, you don't have to stay. And I always say that to everybody. Your beginning does not dictate your ending if you do something different.
Trying to keep this jacket on.
Yeah, keep the jacket on. So that's where the transformation word came from, because I'm ever evolving, and I want to always stay in a place where I can change. Y'all both looking at me.
Pass
Y'all
it
both,
to you,
like,
we
y'all
gonna
both got that
Elliot.
cock to the side at me like y'all do.
You know, normally when you do that, when you
Yeah.
drop that mic, and normally we just be sitting here scribbling on notes, getting our weak word in.
Right, we're getting it in.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely correct when you say transformation. And I had to understand that as a leader, that there's several phases that you need to go through before you can decide, or before God decides where he's going to place you. You have to make an intentional choice about transforming. It's going to happen with or without your permission.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you decide to say that, call yourself a leader, this is who you are, this is what you're doing. Let's talk about specifically for Pontiac, when you say transforming, you cannot stay the same. But a leader is going to help you understand why you transform.
Yeah.
And so all the things that I had to do to get back to this seat today, the ugly cries, the coming in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and the calling y'all, the seeing y'all, the sitting in the car, the worship and the music, all
The
of
prayer.
those things that people don't see
Yeah.
to get us here. The commitment was, do you love what you say you love, or do you love me? That's what God believes. God wants you to love him first. He's going to transform you, and he's going to give you the instructions.
Yeah.
And so that's why you're right. When you start a thing, you don't necessarily have to end that same way, but you have to be a leader that's willing to transform for what you say you love.
That's good.
And that means stand in it. Like, it is a lot of things that's taking place. But I'm so excited because I understand the kingdom principle behind it.
Yeah.
And when God transforms you versus you doing it yourself,
That's good.
you can understand the kingdom principle behind that is that it's going to work out for your good, and he's not going to withhold any good thing from you.
All things going to work for your good. Come on, Regina.
So transforming to me is, I'm not going to put it in the car business words this morning, but transformation to me is being able to transform at any time, being able to move, right? You got to be able to move to the right, to the left, in the middle. And whether you're a leader, you know, everybody is a leader, right?
Yes.
But transformation is, if something happens, can you pivot? Can you transfer? And in the world, when things happen, you know, because things never stay the same, you got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to transform.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able to move, and to move yourself to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, that's I don't think I have any more words besides that.
That's
You got to be able to
powerful right
pivot,
there.
That's
pivot.
That's good, because transformation, it does require some discomfort and some growth. And so, I mean, that's just a part of it. So when you're thinking about pivoting, like, this isn't working for me, what can I do now? Like, what's my next step? And it's important with transformation too. You kind of realize that, you know what, I can't stay here. Like you said, I can't stay here. It's a conscious decision that I want to move forward. It's a conscious decision saying that, you know what, this hasn't worked. And so since this hasn't worked, we're going to go somewhere else. Like and I love how you even talked about God. You know, when you said that all things work together for our good, that is a promise, but it's for the called. Those are
right.
called according to his
right.
purpose. You know, for his purpose. So when you really are moving in God's purpose, the purpose he has for you, things going to work for your good.
Oh, man.
And no good thing will he withhold from you. Nothing when you're doing it his way and in his purpose.
And that's why I truly believe in this moment in time is why I'm called to be the next mayor of the city of Pontiac.
Come on here.
Well, come on now.
Now,
Amen.
This did not happen by accident. This was very strategic that as I look at my life and how I was able to develop, but you have to be really and willing to pivot your time schedule because and trust the fact that when God say you ready, and I know some people like to look at things, oh, it's spooky spirit. No. You know for a fact when it's your time. And you know for a fact when you've been in the process, when you've been in the, when you've been in that wheelhouse, when he's been churning you, when he's been moving, you clearly understand and say, okay, you're ready. You may not see it. This is the most, I have to say, this is the most impactful, intentional decision I ever made in my life. Am I nervous about it? Do I have a clarity of mind about it? I have a clarity of mind, but I have to every day, step by step, wake up and say, okay, what does today bring?
But it's okay. But it's okay to
It's
be
okay.
nervous. It's
Exactly.
okay.
And again, and y'all know me. I want all the smoke. I want it all the time.
All the smoke.
Right?
Listen.
All the time.
All the
But look,
smoke.
I want y'all
all
to
the
stay right
smoke.
there because we got to take a quick break.
Okay,
So we're
okay.
going to come
Yeah, let's
back
go.
and see what the smoke look
Yes,
like, okay?
yes.
We'll be back in just a few minutes.
And
y'all.
pay attention to the Queen's video,
Listen.
her commercial.
Hi, it's Regina, the Queen of Carlones at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet.
And I'm Joe Longhammer.
We're doing something special for tax season. You can get 5 free oil changes, or you can get extra $500 for your trade-in, or you can get $500 extra for your down payment.
Regina can only handle 25 of these special deals every month.
Because I work personally on each loan to get the best deal possible.
When these 25 spots are gone this month, they're gone.
I'm Regina, the Queen of Carlones, and I'll get you approved. Come in and say, give me the queen, or go.
Regina the Queen of Carlones here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, come see the Queen.
Hi, it's Regina, the Queen of Carlones at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet.
And I'm Joe Longhammer.
We're doing something special for tax season. You can get 5 free oil changes, or you can get extra $500 for your trade-in, or you can get $500 extra for your down payment.
Regina can only handle 25 of these special deals every month.
Because I work personally on each loan to get the best deal possible.
When these 25 spots are gone this month, they're gone.
I'm Regina, the Queen of Carlones, and I'll get you approved. Come in and say, give me the queen, or go to thequeendeals.com. Hi, it's Regina, the Queen of Carlones at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet.
You know what? Back in the studio, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's on fire today. But what's our call-in number? It's not on the bottom. 248. What? We need to know what's our call-in number. We should know about her. What's our call-in number, sir?
248-905-1128. 248-905-1128. So if you're listening today and you want to call and talk to the next mayoral candidate, Gil Garrett, make sure you call in. You got questions, we want to answer them. So look, when we went on break, Gil was like, I want all the smoke. So we're going to start right with that. You know, one of the things you said that you needed to be impactful, you needed to be intentional, and this was one of the hardest decisions, right?
Yes.
But come on, let's go with the smoke. Let's talk about
I
it.
definitely say I want all the smoke. It's just my personality. It's who I am, and it's who I think I've been defining as not just a man, but as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am a defender, I'm a protector. And a lot of people, we in this day and age now where folks who want to have a passive aggressive stand towards things that's being directed ill will towards people. And the one thing that you cannot do in front of me is attack old women and children. And so with that, I step up. And it's not, and this was the attitude that I had way before I even became a police officer, even before my first football game. So I've been that person. I've been the folks that just says accountability is what we're gonna stand on.
That's good.
So if it's somebody who need to stand in the gap, that's me. So when I say I want all the smoke, this is me telling folks who want to come hurt my people, who want to come hurt the people that I love, is that the fact that there's somebody that's going to stand in the gap, and they know me to do that.
That's good.
That's not always been a positive. That's not all, people who want to break a wall to get to people who they can easily destroy. They don't like the fact that somebody is standing in the gap, the in-between person. And so that's when you get the character, we want to, he's a bully, he's a this, he's a that. And I feel comfortable speaking on that. On particularly today, I wanted to really kind of address that, is the fact that you need a person in the room. A bully is somebody who feels like they're intimidated by the people that they're going up against. Nowhere about me am I a bully. I cannot stand a bully because they show weakness in that sense, and that's why they think they can bully minority people. I like going at the Goliath. I don't mind the Goliath. I don't mind looking into the other side when there's destiny and hope on the other side, and I got to go to it to get it. And so Pontiac has entrusted me to do that for so long. I'm ready.
We got
to
our
do
first question for you, Gil.
Let's go.
So Chantel said, if elected mayor, what will be your top 3 priorities?
Top 3 priorities. I would just tell you, safer neighborhoods, accountability for people, financial stability, economic growth.
So let's talk about a little bit about accountability.
Accountability is what we have lacked in leadership for years. We were able to, in both, let's just kind of take this in reverse, in a sense. Everybody wants to be and make decisions. You want to be the leader, but if it doesn't go according to plan, no one looks like the bad guy. Or if something goes, if it goes wrong, and you made a mistake, nobody wants to say I made that mistake.
Wow.
And so
taking ownership.
You have to take ownership when you in these positions. So why accountability is because of the fact that if you don't have it, you can't change anything. You just always just keep going around in a circle, if that makes sense. If you don't hold, if there's no accountability, if $32 million is missing out of the bond money from the Pontiac School District, and no one says,
Where is it?
where is it?
Yeah.
Or
Where the
no one-
receipts?
or
Where the
no-
receipts?
or no one says, I think we had to have another entity look into this, and then the kids fail. It goes off in the wind. If someone says, if they go, well, the mayor, no one has receipts or no one can come. We're just talking about it, and nobody comes with proof. Then how do you hold someone accountable? You're just thinking about it. But if you come with proof, then it's up at that particular point in time for people to say, okay, look, is it right? Is it wrong? Like it's a measuring stick, and it's not bad. Accountability is not a bad thing.
So it brings to the point I'm thinking about. We talk about accountability. I know when the small businesses were supposed to get the monies, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm told that, they were supposed to be out at a certain time, and now the small business haven't even received the money, and now they're going back and they're asking for a list of things, right? But if you're going to give someone monies or funds, right, shouldn't you have the criteria before that? So I guess my question to you is, what would you have done differently to make that, far as the people getting their monies and so long? Because I know that people got work done on their roofs or their facilities, and now they're waiting to pay the contractors.
And contractors want their money.
And
they were promised the funds were promised at a certain time, and they haven't gotten them yet.
So one thing's for sure, before you even say what you're going to do, have it already written down and the plan worked out before you go to a person saying, hey, can you apply for this? And communicate that very clearly of what the expectations is and what they are not. And so that's what I would have done a little differently when you say structure, and you got to set structure and you got to set order, because if not, you don't know who to hold accountable when certain things like this happen. Now, I was over in the administration for a year and a half. And so the current administration. And so I was a part of the transition team. I took 2 months off of my day job, paid myself, and worked over there so that I can be a part of the transformation and see it eye to eye and how the municipality works. A lot of times, don't be fooled by individuals who say they didn't know when they've had weekly conversations. The executive and legislative side council talk on a weekly basis. And so if something is not, the executive side is responsible for implementing, council side is responsible for providing, but we're both responsible on how we're going to maneuver this money or maneuver what we say we're going to do for the people, small businesses, contractors being paid, et cetera. That is a conversation. And so I wasn't privy to those particular conversations in detail, but I know what took place.
Wow.
So with that being said, those are the things that I would do differently. The first thing is really setting the order to what you can do and what you cannot do. Because if you're doing it just because, A, it's going to make somebody feel good or make me look good or make me, this is what we're moving things better than the other administration or the other council. When you constantly, consistently competing with other people or you have no vision,
Come on.
then you hurt the people who really need it, because it's folks who are boots on the ground that need and want to be a part of what's going on. And we've been driven away by the red tape and the whole posturing of what should take place, and it isn't taking place. And I'm not here to spot blame. I'm just stating facts that if we talk on a regular basis, if we're planning and we have no other agenda but to see what's going to happen right now, then there's no reason why people shouldn't get paid and money should not be rolled out and things of that nature.
Wow. So we have another question on the screen. Chantel said, if elected, what guarantees will you make the citizens of Pontiac? Guarantees.
That you can hold me accountable.
That we can hold you accountable.
That you can hold me. The guarantee is what you're doing already. Like, see, this is not my first rodeo. They've elected me to go in and each time to do a job. So hold me accountable. And when I say hold me accountable, that I'll be present. The guarantee is that I'm present. The guarantee that I will be here in the mist, in the muck. I've had to be the middleman for several administrations and councils. In my job as a police officer, as a liaison between the city and the community, I've helped set up neighborhood associations, business groups here in this community. I help transition council members into the positions that they're in right now, administrations, helping them understand the dynamics of how law enforcement and legal works. That was part of my job for 26 years and still is. And so the guarantee that I have is that you're going to see me and you can see who I am in the work that I've done and that the work that I'm even doing to this present day. And so that's the difference. And that part is very important. And if you let me just kind of drill on a little bit more. People in City Hall who work there every day cannot just see me go into an elevator and go upstairs. Even though there's a lot of work for us to do, we all have a role to play in moving the city when you're getting a paycheck from the city. It's not personal because we make a decision to work for the city. Let's handle the business first and then get to if we can have a personal relationship later. Let's get to the fact that you're here to do a job and I'm not just your mayor. It affects my grandchildren. The decisions that were made or lack of decisions that have been made when I got laid off for 2.5 years and I watched my friends lose homes. I lost over $500,000 in stock. I had to start my whole career over from the lack of decisions being made. So it affected me. So again, my transformation is not just because of the fact that I'm just deciding I want to run for mayor. It has nothing to do with the mayor's seat. I'm about to take a pay cut. This has everything to do with my 5 grandchildren, assume that's going to come after me. This has everything to do to make sure that we do not go back to having tumbleweeds. It has everything to do to make sure that we're not, people use the word gentrification, but you got to understand something about Pontiac. We're the most diverse community in Oakland County, period, and always have been.
So basically, you have transformed yourself in every situation that you went through.
Exactly.
You were able to recover.
Exactly.
Back on your feet, basically.
Exactly.
Wow. So Gil, you gave us a lot, which is really good. I love it. But I want to hit on one of the points one of the talking points. And you said that you would expand mental health resources. So
for
since
sure.
that's in my neck of the woods,
listen.
let's kind of talk about that.
So before it became popular to say mental health,
Yeah.
before it became the catchy phrases or incidents were taking place, when they closed those mental health facilities in the state of Michigan, they had no idea of what that meant for the communities that needed the most mental health help.
Well, the first one was
Right.
on
Clinton Valley.
Clinton Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we started spiraling then, right? But what happened? They started building and saying, we just gonna migrate all of that populace to Pontiac. But no one gave us assistance. No one said how we're gonna do it. They knew that administrations and our legal stance was weakened. And so they built these nonprofits and they said, well, this is what's gonna be the hub. But they were never intended for seats for folks who live here and that needed it here. They filled with individuals, and I have no problem with helping anybody else. But if I'm supplying you the home, how come I don't have a room in that house?
That's good.
And so when we talk about mental health, and this is a personal thing for me, because of the fact that I got a nephew.
Yeah,
This was like a son.
I remember.
And we just went through this recently, right? Where the minute we were able to get him out of OCJ, get him transferred, guardianship papers. I mean, it took us so long. It took my wife so long to get guardianship papers, so we can take care of him.
Yeah.
They transported him to Common Ground. Before my wife can get there and say, hey, listen, he's in a manic state. This is what he's not on the regular medication. They just let him out.
Yeah.
So now he's back. Now we have to thank God that my wife has a plan. Like we have a plan.
Yeah.
That we were able to financially do some things and maneuver certain home living situations
Yeah.
to make sure that we can, have him in a space
Yeah.
where we're able to take care of him. But that's not the case with everybody else.
It sure isn't.
And so for the other 6 people who was just wandering around in the lobby, now this is my wife going. This is my wife going in there,
Yeah.
right? And this is the same services I'm supposed to use as a police officer to help everybody else. So when you talk about mental health, and you're gonna place it here, then I must demand not only do we have a seat at the table, but I must demand that the money that you're getting to fund your organization comes here first. And you provide a service to our people.
Yeah.
And our people ain't necessarily just because you my color don't make you
That's
my
right.
kind.
That's right.
But my
Amen.
people,
Come on,
my
that's
people,
Amen.
my
Talk to
people
us
are
now.
my people who they are hurting.
Yeah.
The folks that they don't want to sit on a corner and ask you for a dime. I got folks in I got people that is that wheelchair that gets in a wheelchair early in the morning.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to do that.
That's true.
They vets. But we talk about it all the time. But now that I know how the system works, now that I understand where we need to go, as the mayor of the city, there's decisions and conversations that I have that I can have with the authority of the people,
Wow.
because that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really grateful for elections, because when you elected by the people,
Yeah.
people are my boss. Because if somebody puts you there, if a person puts you there, they can take you out of it.
Yeah. You're elected official.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
know what I
main
mean?
thing. Yeah.
And so I take that seriously.
Yeah.
And I tell other elected officials when I'm in a room with them, who try to do other things, you can't take me out of here. The people who elected me, the only people that could take me out of here.
So Gil,
So
let's.
get comfortable being uncomfortable.
So I have a
Hey,
question. So
that's
what's
good.
one of the biggest compliments that you had being on the Pontiac School Board?
One of the biggest accomplishments
That you're proud of. You can stick your
that I
chest
can
out.
say that is several. It is several. One of the biggest is colleagues across the country asking me to represent Pontiac on a national level. Like I got to introduce the world, the country, the United States of America to the Pontiac School District. And so that's an honor to me. That, and I don't say it as an accomplishment, but to get eyes on Pontiac means everybody in Pontiac now or who wants to know that they can reach that. And so I still serve there and I still represent Pontiac. My term on the school board been over, but I still go to DC on my own dime. I still represent
Because
Pontiac.
you built
in the
those
sense
relationships.
You built those relationships. And so
Yeah.
now to carry national relationships and even state relationships, you bring that back to a seat of mayor to be able to organize our school districts and our city. You could talk about, oh yeah, the schools and the city need to get together, but how you don't have a plan to do it. Like we have a plan to do it. And so that's I would think that was one of the biggest, that's something to bring world eyes on a city that's so beautiful.
Well, you brought up the point that you start even on a national level, but recently I was reading to some restructuring that they're deciding to do in Pontiac for the school district. Let's kind of get into it.
Let's take a quick
because-
break before we get into that.
We'll come right back.
You
Take a quick break. Quick break, because you about to get hot. You about to get hot.
We'll be
I
right
see.
back
I'm
after
trying to
this
take my
break.
headphones off. Like, okay, she about.
Hi, it's Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet.
And I'm Joe Longhammer.
We're doing something special for tax season. You can get 5 free oil changes, or you can get an extra $500 for your trade-in, or you can get $500 extra for your down payment.
Regina can only handle 25 of these special deals every month.
Because I work personally on each loan to get the best deal possible.
When these 25 spots are gone this month, they're gone.
I'm Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and I'll get you approved. Come in and say, give me the queen, or go to
Man, so we back trying to get all the smoke, okay? So Gil,
I said I wanted all
look, we trying to get some of it,
I mean,
right?
just when you see it, when it's coming my way, I ain't gonna run from it.
So when we got ready to go on break, I asked you about, I've been reading and we have some parents that are voicing and children are voicing about this restructuring that is supposedly coming to the Pontiac School District.
Yes.
So can you talk to us a little bit about that? I know I just want to hear about what, if as mayor, like, what would you do if this came across your desk? Because I know you can't control what happens, but what do you do?
You can't control what happens, but you can definitely influence what happens. And and I say that in the sense that it's still on my desk today. So the position may change, but the posture doesn't. And so, with that being said, there are several ideals that's being presented
Yeah.
at this particular point in time. Is there a need to restructure now, at this very moment? the verdict is still out on that. Is this the time in which we should have discussion about what we should be doing just to have the conversation? Yes. Because you have to inform parents about what's happening. Do I think you should do something like this in the second semester of school? Not at the point of you're not having town hall meetings or being very specific about what you want to do. There's nothing specific about what we've seen. Now, even if I start to articulate what I've seen, and I can do that, right? Because of the profession, because some of us will have the inside, the details of that. But I think that we need to just simply have a conversation that this is what we're thinking about. Because it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah, but Gil, they said that this is getting ready to be voted on, and then the parents will be notified. So, like,
Well,
is there no voice there? Like, how is this possible?
So what you're doing right now is you're talking about something that you're everybody don't know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, but you are not talking about what you.
What you mean?
So like Pontiac. Okay, so
so
let's give a
the
little
restructure,
background.
okay.
Right, so the
Yeah.
the Pontiac School District in this form or fashion, because we've had this conversation before. We have ITA and we
Right.
have the Pontiac.
That's
High
what I'm
School.
talking
Right.
about. That
Okay,
part.
you want
And
to
so-
name?
They-
right,
detail.
so-
They
yeah,
need
so I'll give you-
details.
So
Keep going.
ITA is one of the
You
high schools
educate me this morning.
that was
so I
very
know.
that was designed to be more of a college readiness.
Yes.
The rigor was supposed to be placed in there. You had it was just high level, high intensity when it comes down to delivering educational instruction. And so it wasn't that you didn't have rigor at Pontiac High, but Pontiac was more so CTE, workforce development, and those and that kind of tier. And so kids at one conversation, there was a conversation around if you're doing all these CTE workforce development programs, some of the kids who are in this college readiness STEM program, they want to know how
They
to
need
be
to do
pilots.
this,
They
yeah.
want to be nurses. And so then you had that going back and forth. So that kind of promoted the conversation around, well, how do we get our 9 through 12 ITA folks the same, if not the same information or ability to go into these other workforce development programs like you do at Pontiac High? And then how, if some folks who didn't really want to enter into the CTE program, how do they begin to go over to IT and say, we
To
want
the
more
STEM.
rigor, right? To the STEM program. And so that was the premise of the conversation. We started, I have a video, and I can send it back to you, Shanti. A whole year ago, I asked the kids that were in our civic government class, and it was live. And I asked them, I said, what if we join you two together, basis on this conversation? We had a dialogue about it. Well, the administration at that particular point in time was very uncomfortable with because it wasn't their traditional way of asking how things should be done. And so the vote that you're talking about that's going to go to the board is a vote which depend on, if you read it, because I'm not at the table now, is to do the plan or to have discussion about the plan. But I think someone from the school board at this particular point in time, they have a different leadership, so should be having a conversation of saying, this is what possibly could be presented. And you don't necessarily have to, I use my platform everywhere to do what needs to do to get information out, to be more transparent. And so because the accountability point to this decision that's being made, parents now have to make a decision on where they want to send their kids if they want to be a part of this change. And so you have to start having a discussion, because semesters, you got summer school that's coming up, you got the summertime, then you going into September, going into the new school year. There's not enough, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't really, I would have done something a little differently. But this is what I'm seeing from the outside looking in. I can truly say that this should just only be a discussion.
Yeah.
It should not be something that should be done right now.
That's good. I appreciate you responding to that, because I do realize you may not be at the table, but you got insight.
Oh,
You've
definitely.
been at
Listen,
the table before.
listen, there's no, Okay, I can,
Yeah,
I
but
can feel somebody
wait a
looking
minute.
at me at the back of my
Listen,
head,
I'm finna go
and
somewhere else.
go somewhere
Don't
else.
you
Like,
do it?
Don't you
Because
do
I was
it.
thinking to myself, don't you do it?
So, Gil, I got a question though.
I love that's my first love though. Y'all know I love folks who work. I love the work of education.
Yeah.
I love what we're doing in education. And that's why I know that, because now I have to look at not just the Pontiac School District, I look at the other 5 districts that's in
Yeah.
our city. And so because I have a plan and because I've worked with those other school districts and I've meet with those superintendents and I've met with those principals, because we're talking about the Department of Education and some of the things that some of this current federal administration wants to do, we have to prepare everyone for what's coming down the pipe. And so just because there may be a little bit of slow communication on one end doesn't mean that you stop the whole plan.
That's true.
And so I think that's what makes us effective and ready, because the mayoral seat will have a plan of execution for the city. So again, you may not own it, but the influence is there.
Good. Gil, I got a question. Why Gil Garrett for mayor?
And what sets you apart from the other 2 candidates? 2-part question.
Yeah. Why Gil Garrett?
Why? Why?
Because Gil Garrett has been the one that's been able to deliver the information to those who have sat in those seats previously and currently. And so when you're the middleman and you understand and you see the gaps in information, you see the gaps in decision making, because you bring in information. You're the one boots to the ground. You're the one that's in the streets. You're the one that's, has to advocate for certain parts and certain things that's happening. When you're part of a team that does that, you coming out of a space of not just knowing, but you're entering into a space that you're already given the information, and I can see where the gaps are. Now, my perspective to that is, when you do see the gaps, if you're able to communicate that, once you're not able to communicate that, you being ignored or you're being silenced or things are happening to you, council, some council folks, or their authority seems to, they believe they have a little bit more authority and they use their influence to weaponize certain things against you, then I can take that on. But then now I'm saying, okay, at this particular point, it costs too much in life, people suffering too much to not be able to make a decision. All people want is a decision. They want a choice. They want options. And just, you cannot take that away because of your lack of understanding of what's being presented in front of you. And I'm not going to give you fluff about a plan, or we already have things that we've worked on. I've been a part of the charter, the new charter, right? I actually was in the administration at the particular point in time, found out individuals wanted a city manager. They didn't want a strong form mayor of government. They wanted a city manager. In my eyes, that looks as a dictator. It wouldn't be working other places. And so I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. And so the people elected me in as a write-in candidate. Because I didn't change. I said, no, I got to go. We need to go have a conversation about that. And then those folks who wanted that, I had to have a conversation with them, say, that's never going to happen. And of course, it never happened. And so we had to be strong in the fact of what that charter looked like, because it had to be a charter for the people. And we had some very strong, heated discussions, and we opened them up. It's on live. You can go check the records. I'm not telling you something that I'm making up.
Receipts.
Yeah, I know you got
receipts.
Exactly. You know I got receipts. So it's the charter, the master plan that we just completed. And I encourage everyone right now to go and if you hadn't had a chance in the whole year to be a part of the master plan, at least voice your opinion about it, because council is soon to vote on that. So we have a master plan that I was a part of. And that master plan carries you for 5 years. It guides you as your map. So when I talk about when I talk about safety, neighborhoods, accountability, financial stability, economic success, that's just the power behind, or that's going to be assisted by the master plan, because the people spoke to that. The city charter, because people spoke to that. So we got a vision, we got rules. Safety is just a mechanism that we're going to use day to day, those acronyms, to make sure that these are the priorities, because they align with the master plan. They align with the charter. And I was a part of both of those.
I think one of the things what the city
And then I'll
wants.
answer number 2 later.
Okay, so I think one of the things what the city wants from a mayor or anyone in high authority is to be a part of decision making.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
well, and let's talk about that for a second, if we will. And let's not run from that. Sometimes you got to build trust, though. Like,
Amen.
we have as leaders, and I say, you hear me say that all the time, because you can't get away. You're a leader, you're a leader. And I don't like singling out folks. If you're a part of it, you're part of it, no matter what team is winning at that particular point in time.
Come on, that's good.
But if we don't allow the people to trust us, people are living their lives. Their life is lifing. They living their lives and don't want anything from the government unless you can assist them with something. And so we've learned how to do that in our community for years. So we don't pay attention to what big government's saying. Just we're going to find a way to add you into what we already have to do to survive. And so because we've broken trust, because we played like puppets in these positions, because decisions were not made and stood on, or we didn't pivot when we needed to pivot. We didn't build relationships outside of Pontiac or just the east side or the south side of Pontiac. Because we did not do that, we failed to give our people options. And so now it is hard for them to want to be a part of something. Like when you talk about the planning of the charter, like we maybe had 1 or 2 people show up. That's why we went live. Some people tuned in. We got 60,000 people. I would love for 60,000 people to tune in every time we do something. When you say the master plan, these are, so the 20 people or the 30 people or the 40 people that help to contribute to those, I can't disrespect them. I have to honor them taking time out of their day to say this is important. But we have to always, as I always say this, we're building the plane and flying it at the same time when it comes down to trust. So that's why you have to articulate your position. You have to tell them what you're going to do, and then you have to show them and then allow people to vent to a certain degree and hold them accountable. Accountability is a two-way street. And so,
you using that word.
Because I love it.
And transformation.
Yeah,
Because I love it. It's you have to have it.
Well, okay, so Gil,
We got to go back to that other question, though, that he wanted to answer.
Oh, you said the second part. You said what separates me from the other candidates. First, that's a good question. Secondly, those individuals who are running, they have their own attributes. I just believe I have what we need at this time. I know I have what we need for this time. It's not to say that they would never be ready. It's not to say that what they have to bring to the table cannot be used. I just spent the last 26 years being transformed for such a time as this.
That's good.
And so I don't look at competition. I look at things that people can bring to the table and when they can bring them. And so because I've been in every level of your government and change, and also had to suffer the consequences of those changes, and also be bullied and sometimes misunderstood by individuals with a level of pride or ego, and weaponized certain things to make sure that I don't get to even be here in this room is the difference. And so I look to when the people have make that decision, because I am the safe decision, to be the mayor of Pontiac, is even look at those individuals and say how true you are to the city. Because it is about staying consistent in that. And so that's what separates. And I think that's a very clear distinction.
Wow, it is very clear. My question to you.
Good answer. I don't even vote in Pontiac.
Right here.
Yeah, she here, and like she play here for real.
For real.
Listen,
Right.
and so my question for you,
Yes.
Gil, is what does campaigning look like for you? Like, how are you going to show up and campaign? Like, what does that look like?
It really isn't a campaign. It really just showing up, just introducing a side that people often seen of me, but then just reintroducing myself in a way where this is why you should make this choice for me.
Yeah.
Like you trusted me in all these other places. You've seen where I can save you money. You trusted me to stay with your law enforcement department, and you watched how we transitioned that. You trusted me in the school district where we were able to transform a lot of things. We could do things different. We could do some more, but you trusted me to keep the money safe. You trusted me. You guarded me. You trust me to come to your home and protect you. Like these are things that people already do. Mm-hmm. So campaigning for me is very, very intentional, and is still in the right now. It's not forgetting that we still have to do work right now.
Yeah.
Because some of these questions that you ask me, people will clearly stay away from. They'll clearly give a political answer, right?
Yeah.
Because they are afraid of what someone is going to say. But when you don't have to introduce yourself, like when you don't have to reintroduce yourself, because I'm here. So you're going to see me when it heats up, right? We at the Mill Down, right? You're going to see us, in other podcasts that we've helped to, grow and move. And I'm part of media here in the city, and helping other photographers, and just I'm a part of the fabric. I'm a Pontiac son, and so I don't want to embarrass my mother and my father, so I'm not going to do anything to do that. And then if I do, I'm still not running from what made me and help me put me to where I'm at. So the campaign is personal this time. Like this campaign is personal. I'm not. Before it was personal because I was chasing criminals. It was like, oh, you stole from the kids, you're going to jail. Like that was my whole mantra. Like I have 4 investigations under my belt that these folks went to jail from taking from our kids and taking from our community. There's a recent one, and I'll just stay quiet about that. When I came over into administration, we initiated that. That was one of mine. So I don't hide, I don't duck, I don't do any of that. And I know I'm going to tell you this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and we're going to do it.
And we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so that is it is being personal, and I'm hoping that this campaign allows people to clearly see that you can come here with minimal and reach for the highest seat, but understand clearly it's going to take your hard work and your dedication to the process. And people who see me and know where I've been, and the Pontiac police officer, the president of the SAP, the president of Central Multicultural, like they see all these different titles, president of the school board, NSBA, they see all these attributes and these accolades. They still say that's a common dude. They still say that's a guy that he can watch my kids. He can be at my house when I ain't there. He can cook. You know what I'm saying? Like the stability with my wife, the stability that she brings, the stability that our kids bring, like that's Pontiac. Like that's who we are. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm hoping that people see that enough, where even after the campaign, whatever decision that's made by the people, that they get a glimpse of we still who we say we are.
Well, that was my thought process. Like even after the campaign is over, whatever the results are you still going to show up, regardless
and
of
show out?
Because a lot of people go hide if things change.
Listen, when things
a lot of people run.
Let me say this, and shout out to Sherman Williams, because I can just feel him in the back of my head.
You right there, your campaign manager.
Let's understand this. Understand this clearly. This is an assignment. And wherever the course of the assignment takes you is where you must lead.
Yeah, that's good.
I've been through the public displays of things where people have done things. And you can hurt, you can cry, you can feel pain, you can feel anger, you can do all that. But you have to heal. You have to go tuck yourself in, get yourself together, and get back in the fight for your part of the fight.
What's my 3 steps?
Well, I was just gonna say that.
What's my 3 steps? You remember?
You got to heal. No.
Feel.
You got to heal.
Feel.
You got to feel.
Deal.
And then heal.
I was gonna say feel, heal, and steal.
It's feel.
I know. I'm just.
You feel it.
You gotta feel it, right? And then you gotta deal with it.
You gotta do, and then you gotta heal
from
it.
it.
And those perspectives. So in all those ways, you can see through my whole career. You can see through my whole movement. You can see through the whole spaces. he's still here. He's still here. Because what those folks don't understand, you're talking about my life.
Yeah.
Like I was 19 when I got here. I'm 50.
Come
You
on.
talking about
Come
my
on now.
life.
Listen.
Right? You talking about my life. This not a job. I don't need a job. I'm about to take a pay cut. Why do I want the stress? Because I can handle it. Why do I want the pressure? One would ask you, with everything going on in national news and all this going on about me, will you be crazy for the? I'm that crazy.
So I need you to look into the camera now and tell the folks, because we right at the end,
Yes.
the lasting thing that you want them to know about Gil Garrett, who's running for Pontiac mayor.
If you never met me before, you spend enough time with me, I'm going to convince you that you can do anything you want and you can see in your heart and your life. This is more than an election. This is a purpose. And this has been a 2-decade purpose. This doesn't happen overnight. But I assure you that if you elect me as mayor of Pontiac, you would not regret not one time making a decision to keep you safe, your family safe, your destiny safe, and ensure that your legacy in Pontiac, that your grandmama left, that your granddaddy left, the roots of who we are. We may not have the plants anymore. We may not have the GMs, but we have resiliency and we have our legacy. We are entrepreneurial, spirited, driven people. We are determined. We will take something and we will build it and make it grand. We are determined. That's who we are. That's what Pontiac did for me. And as your mayor, not only will I display it, not just in Pontiac, but throughout the region, where people who want to be excited about doing business here, be open here, and have control of what our future looks like. Because I can stand in the gap for you. You trusted me to do it before, and I'm asking you to do it again. That's what you're going to get when you vote for Gil Garrett for mayor.
All right, well, that was a great reel. We're going to have to get that. I had to write a note. That's a great reel. We're going to have to get on that one. Okay.
Yeah, they know it.
That was good. Yeah.
They know it.
Well, congratulations.
It took me so. I appreciate it. I
So proud
I kept the jacket on.
Yes,
You
I'm
did.
proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
I kept the jacket on. I love y'all so.
Yeah, we love,
we
you
love
too.
you too.
And
Yeah.
just
Yeah, we
understand
do.
clearly, like, even though this is family, and I where that camera is over here. Listen, candidates, make your way here. State what your platform is, because you're not just talking about what you're trying to do now. People need to know who you are.
Yeah.
Period. And so it's always a safe space with you. I just happened to have the benefit of, at a time in my life where things were just is crazy. You guys helped guide me and cross me over into a space that I needed to be.
All that kicking and screaming you did.
Oh man, yeah.
I
For
mean,
sure.
all that arguing and yelling in the morning on the meeting.
Listen, it was well worth it. It was well worth it.
All that cussing
I
Regina
did it.
did.
I know.
Hey, now you're telling the backstory.
Hey, listen.
You
I
putting
was,
all
I
up
was
in
praying
there.
Man.
she was cussing, you was yelling. And
Man, and it's needed. And so I don't want people to lose sight of that. I don't want people to understand and lose sight because we are a small town. We're a small city. We still got a town mentality. And I don't want people to be discouraged to the fact of just saying because they're a particular person, oh, well, there's no favoritism. You're gonna get the work.
You're going to get to work.
If them questions they asked me was, this is a regular, this is regular.
This is regular. We
And
was
it's
kind
not-
of mild, though,
yeah, right,
honestly.
and
We were really mild.
And to your point, like to the point of just saying that I need people to understand clearly we got to get out of the whole I got to tear you down to make me feel big.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't, for me, I always look at myself as a king.
Come on, King.
So
Come
I
on
don't,
now.
So
Let's
I
do
don't.
it the King's
Come
way.
on
so
now.
it's and then when you a king's kid,
That's why we
there's
gotta
a
do it the
certain way
King's
you
way.
have to identify. So all the things, the mess that you see that's going on, like we ain't sharing that. We ain't looking at it. And people would tell you, the people who are involved in a lot of these things, when I see them face to face, I have a conversation with them about life.
Yeah.
I still have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Like I talk to the granddad about the kids. I go see the kids in that neglect. That's not the only family. That's a part 2 show.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah, we have to come back and
You
do
said
that.
part 2
That's a-
because we already 2 minutes over.
I'm sorry. That's a
Part
part 2.
Look,
That's a
y'all,
part 2 show.
y'all been tuned in. It was
Appreciate
so
y'all.
good today. It was good for one band, one sound to be back
Yeah.
together today.
One band, one sound.
So we're
Yes.
excited though. So Pontiac, you know, you got some candidates that's on the roster. You know, hey, it's time to look at their character. It's time to look at what they bring into the table and what they say they about. So we're excited.
Can I tell them to go to Can I tell them where to go?
Where you gonna do that
Where you
anyway?
gonna tell them go?
Yeah, you're right. www.gilgarrettforpontiac.com. Check out the website. Check out the newsletter.
One more time so Sandy can put it on the bottom.
www.gilgarrettforpontiac.com.
Come on.
That's
for it,
where the
Pontiac.
resources is. That's where we're going to have the newsletter. You'll see some of our events. What we've been doing now is really having meetings, gatherings, because people want to have some very intimate conversations and be real.
Yeah.
And so y'all know I love the party. We're going to throw a big one soon. Maybe around, we're looking at about April, something like that, to do like a real.
It's
like the big
geared
one,
for the
everybody's-
people. Is
No,
it
no, no. It's Gil Garrett for Pontiac.
For Pontiac.
For
Okay.
Pontiac.com. www.GILLGARRETTFORPONTIAC. Gil Garrett for Pontiac.com.
All right. Well, y'all heard it here first. Thank y'all for joining.
Thank
you.
y'all.
Thank
In
you.
the
Thank you.
Travesty. Happy
Good
Saturday,
morning.
everybody.
Happy Saturday, y'all.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Hi, it's Regina, the Queen of Carlones at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet.
And I'm Joe Longhammer.
We're doing something special for tax season. You can get 5 free oil changes, or you can get extra $500 for your trade-in, or you can get $500 extra for your down payment.
Regina can only handle 25 of these special deals every month.
Because I work personally on each loan to get the best deal possible.
When these 25 spots are gone this month, they're gone.
I'm Regina, the Queen of Carlones, and I'll get you approved. Come in and say, give me the queen, or go to thequeendeals.com.